Well, this is my part about the Brains Games world. So, how did Brains Game emerge and why did they decide to sell his business in this best moment? So, LaRepublica.com says that Brains Games has emerged in 2011. Why? Because the two owners have the great idea of designing strategic video games for cell phones about learn or something. So this is a revolutionary idea because in Colombia this is not like a common idea that make the project make millions of dollars at the month. Why? Because they have been by Jam City, one of the best top sell video games in the world, in the USA more. So, Ruta Medellin talks about the emerge of the video games, what they think and more. So they start thinking about Vampire Season or three of the another games that they have to create a video games to sell in the country or more. And they see that uh, the things that they need to develop video games in Colombia are so scarce. So what they do with the help of another companies, they start to get capital. And Jam City, one of the most top of the creators of video games, like what I say, see this project and Puy. So also, this is one of the biggest contracts that have entrepreneur in Colombia. What did what did Jam City wants to help Brains Games? Because they see that these people have great ideas and have like the the positive thing about what they want to make. So they think that it's a good idea to put the company. And with the help of Jam City, develop more video games to the world. And also, in the Semana.com, say that in the past of the 8 years, in this moment, the 2029, says that they create for games like very well Vampire Season, World War, and two more. This for have great competitions at the world level and competitions with another companies in Colombia, like with Ark Survival that it's again created in Colombia or more games. So they think that with the creation of these four games, with the help of Jam City, they have the video games in 1,017 countries. So, who sell the company and why? Juan Fernando Estrada thinks that the idea of sell the business of Prince games is well. So at the beginning, as we know, in Colombia, the things to develop a video games is not like common. So they make contracts with Ruta N to have the capital to start developing the games, and also to be seen by a company of the top, like in this case, Jam City. So when they have the opportunity of start developing video games and know what they want to pay, they say we are going to sell the idea to Jam City. And with the Jam City in the past of these uh, 10 years, the company generate more than 3 millions of dollars to pay the money to produce. Think like this is a very great idea to the production of video games and the production of money, and that's more that is in a Latin American country like has been Colombia. So this is why they emerged and decided to sell the company.
So, as we know, the Colombian gaming industry is growing fast and it's starting to get recognition, international recognition. So, the gaming industry in Colombia has some bets. So, what are the bets of the gaming industry? Well, uh, they basically Well, I found like the three main bets that they have. So the first one is the market growth. So they're aiming for a bigger growth in their market with foreign investments in the Colombian gaming industry. And as well with that the creation of new companies and developers of video games in Colombia. Also, another one bet is the international recognition. Colombia's gaming industry is aiming for an international recognition, so other countries and big enterprises notice about the Colombian gaming development, so that Colombian market gets better and become a more important cluster. And the last bet that the gaming and app industry in Colombia has is that, well, the Colombian games has their own like taste. They are like a new, they could be a new trend. So that's one of the bets. If Colombia develop one game, of course with their context and with Colombian people, it could be like another video game trend. So in that way, it also uh, develop a lot the gaming industry and of course affect every point of view of this cluster.
Okay, so in this part of the video, I'm going to talk about the creative and technology to create a video games, and that is a very important part because this topic is fundamental for you create a different video game. For example, in the first way, in the creative part, the people use a many factors. For example, the creation, uh, the art or development team, the budget, a game design, portability, and the most important factor in my opinion is you think about the genre of the game. For example, if your game, we are going to talk about the soccer or sports, or for example arms and for the wars and different things. And in other part is a technology. uh, this part have a different factors for a creative part, but this part is very important. And the first factor are the design, the explore, the work plan, the creation, and the work implement. For example, you need to implement, for example, a computer or cell phone on a different things. And that is very important because if you don't have a implement, you don't create a, a video game. And in the technology part is very important. For example, the explore, you need to explore a different things in a this video game or in your creation. And this is a short way so that the video is not made in a very long part. It is not very long, and since these topics have a more explanation, because for example the explanation, the create, the factor create, the factor explore, the factor design, the factor development team, and different factors. If the video is long, I explain this part, but the video is short, and in a future or in the class I'm going to talk about the explain these factors. And
Okay, now we have the fourth and last question. This question asks about the jobs and the works that we can find in the games industry, and what we can have different jobs at the time to creating a video game. Um, first of all, we found that the employers that are working in a company of video games, they have to change of company very quickly because they find out different projects that they are interested in. So it's not like an industry that is very strict and depending on what are the enterprise that the worker is in, depending on what is the like the job of the worker, because there are some different employers that are not that necessary than the others, because some different games maybe they need like an engineer to design different things of a game to have like more reality, but they are not like necessary to continue producing that game if they are going to do another game based on that game that they did. So they maybe have like some different workers that are the principal, and then they have the other workers in that way. We found that there's a lot of different jobs like designers, engineers, like mathematicians, even because they need to find a little of different like problems to resolve depending on different variables that they found in the games. There's programmers, and they have a lot of different jobs for every place doing a video game in that industry. But the bad thing of working in the video game industry depends on that how they get paid, or maybe the hours that they work, because they have to stay a lot of hours, and they don't get paid enough for that many hours that they work, or maybe they don't get paid enough even if they do the 8 hours that they must work. And that's a big problem that the big part of the video game workers are suffering, because of that in United Kingdom appear a group called Game Worker United that tries to help the workers to get their rights and get paid for their job. This is a group for the protection of the rights of the employers that works in video games. Their intention is to elevate the status of the employers to be like an equality between the workers and the companies that they get hired. And that way we find that there's a lot of different things that the video game industry has to improve, and maybe in the future they will have more like opportunities in the way of like financial and rights for the workers. But right now they have a lot of different types of jobs and works and different activities that they need to do in the realization of the video games, that they are generating new and different works and jobs for the people, and that's a very good way to have much more or less people without job. Okay, thank you for watching and listening. That's all.